Okay, hello guys. Welcome back to the Cauldron Chat. In this episodes, we are gonna discuss books, and with us we have again Rowan. Rowan, how are we?
We are hanging in there like a bat.
We're hanging in there. This is like take 4. You guys don't understand what's happening.
We've restarted this freaking video like 5 times now
So
because somebody
anyway,
can't get a hang of itself.
I'm sorry. It's not my fault. It's really not my fault.
We'll blame it on
So,
Tichuba.
oh my god. Okay. You know what? We will blame it on Tachuba, right? Tachuba. Nice.
It still sounds weird. Just keep going.
I don't know why it sounds weird. He says we are saying two different names. We are saying the exact name, and he's arguing with me. But
You're saying Tichuba. I'm saying
and
Tichuba.
and you're saying Tachuba. You're just not like enunciating as much as I am.
You're saying Chuba. I'm saying Tichuba.
I don't hear the difference.
I
I don't
do.
hear the difference.
I do. Don't worry. I do. And
Let
then
me know if you
all
guys hear the difference. Let me
the
know.
only
Let me
the
know.
only thing that matters is that I'm right.
Okay, yeah, right, sure. Right. Um, okay guys, so in these episodes, as you can tell by the title, we're gonna talk about books. We have 3 books picked out for you guys, each that we're gonna talk about, and then we're also both currently reading a book together. And we are going to do this in a few, like we're going to continuously do this to discuss books because I personally love reading, and me and Rowan started this little book club where we're going to just keep reading books so we can just talk about books. And I love books. I think it's a great way to share occult wisdom and knowledge. um I did try to make a bookshelf tour, which I think I told you guys that in my last video, which is why that's how it came to be here. It's not right where I'm in. Right.
Oh, did you talk to me?
Right. No, no, we didn't. We're just talking to the voices in our head, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, the
All right.
demon, my
Right.
paralysis demon.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So, Roman, you want to tell us what books you picked out?
Yeah, I picked out. So I have, well, of course, like we said, we have three, but I picked out two main ones. Because I felt like if there was any like beginner people that were watching, they could really enjoy and learn from these ones, especially if they're like first starting out. So one of my favorites is Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, and I feel like that this book here is like a very good basis on herbs and their magical uses when it comes to jotting down the descriptions and the planetary signs and whether they're masculine, feminine, or if you um, need like the elements and the powers and stuff that they do. Of course, in this book, there's a lot of herbs that are missing from it that I use personally, but it does have more than enough for you to start with, especially the ones that you can find readily, like in your kitchen or like the spice aisle. So, let me see. I'm going through here. I can give like a example of a herb and all that it gives. All right. Say for example, coriander. It'll say the scientific name. It'll give you that, and then it'll give you the folk name. So Chinese parsley, cilantro, culantro, um, or um, stink dill salmon, which that's a pretty good one.
That's funny.
Stink dill salmon, or like you'll find like the ones that they refer to as adder's tongue or blindworm sting. You'll get the folk names of those in here as well. Um, so you'll get the gender that they have assigned to it, like masculine. They'll give the planet Mars, element fire, powers love, health, and healing, and then it will give a magical use. Like coriander has long been used in love spells as sachets. Add the powdered seeds to warm wine to make an effective lust potion. The seeds are used for healing, especially easing headaches, and worn for this purpose. If pregnant women eat coriander, their future children will be ingenious. So that's basically what it gives for every single herb that's in the book. And some descriptions are longer than others. Like rosemary has a longer description in here than any of them. So sometimes it'll give you a little bit of like a mythology behind them. Like for example, parsley. The Greeks said that if you cut parsley, it cuts your love, or that it's a herb referred to like as being bad luck and some things. Like it'll give you a whole story of them, and I just feel like this book is great for starting out because it also gives you tips on how to enchant them, like put your intentions into them. It even has a section on how to make poppets, um, different
It
things
does?
like, yeah,
I didn't know that. I have this book. I didn't even know that part.
it's on page 13. It also gives you sachets or sachets, infusions,
Mm.
baths, ointments, oils, incense. It doesn't give recipes, but it tells you all the things that an herb can be turned into.
That's Scott
Um,
Cunningham, right?
yeah, Scott
Yeah, no, he's
Cunningham.
got a lot of books just on stuff like that alone.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that book though. That's something when I first started practicing that I got because it's like you said, it doesn't cover every book and it doesn't
Mm-mm.
cover every even use for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for the general beginning practice, it's still a great like handbook. Like it's
Yeah,
full of herbs, full of knowledge, and like I said, it's everything that you would have readily on hand that you wouldn't
right.
even suspect magic from, or to have a long mythology, like lore and like in the mythos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only thing that this book doesn't give you is baneful herbs or
Or yeah,
herbs that
usage.
you would herb uses that would refer to more of negative magics like hexing, cursing,
Unfortunately,
things like that.
that yeah, no, that is something I wish it did have, but it's okay. It's all right. There's other books
Yeah,
for that. There is other
there
books for that.
there is another book that I prefer when it comes to having everything in it. Even I have another book that has curios in it, but it's not one of the three. But so you'll have to
So
wait and tune in next time to figure what
exactly,
that book is.
exactly. You want to learn? Yeah, you stay tuned. All right.
But yeah, this one. Um, oh, and in the book, for the vast majority of them, not every single one of them, they have a picture of the plant.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's right. They do like a drawing, so
Yeah,
you can even like if you don't know what the okay. So for example, like I think I could be wrong, but just for example, Mullen. If you don't know what Mullen looks like, I'm not saying this book has Mullen. I'm just like, well, I know it does, like in the like just books. I'm not saying there's a drawing of it. This is just me making shit up right now. But for example, let's
it
just say
does.
it did. It does, right? It would have a drawing, so it does. It has a drawing of what Mullen looks like, so
Hmm.
you could maybe like, oh, I've seen this. It grows on the side of the road or whatever. You know what I mean? And then you can see what it is, which is something that I learned from that book with certain herbs. That's why, yeah, no, I do love that book. It's a great, even like foraging herb. If you're not looking for, it does go into the medicinal parts of it as well. So you don't even have to be a witch or using it for magical purposes. If you want to know foraging information, if you're going out into the woods to look for plants and native stuff to use for homeopathic medicine and stuff like that, it does go into all of that as well.
Yeah. The only and another thing about this book is it doesn't really give a lot of medicinal properties.
Oh, it doesn't.
It's not a medicinal book. It's a magical.
Oh, I straight up lied to y'all then. Never mind.
I mean, in some of them, they might have a little bit that says
Right.
lavender is used for sleep. But that's about it.
Right. Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
going to tell you like this is used to treat in kidney infections. No,
Right. Okay.
it's magical. But yeah, this one is one of my favorites when it comes to herbal beginner books.
So the three books I'm working with for you guys is Anatomy of a Witch, a Map to the Magical Body by Laura Tempest Zakroff. If I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Then a book that was last minute by choice, which is Spirit of the Witch by Raven Gramassi. And then the final book we're going to discuss is like I'm going to discuss with you guys is Baba Yaga's Book of Witchcraft. It is my most recently read, and out of these three, probably one of my higher ranking ones. But um, yeah, so I'll just go into Anatomy of a Witch, starting with like this is a great beginner book as well. It goes into like how the title basically explains. It's the map to the magical body within yourself, within your hands, your arms, your fingers, your hair, your feet, everything, and it just goes into like your body being the altar and the temple that you should start off with and take care of first and foremost. While we do have these um well, we do have materials outside of us, like the altars, like the cauldrons, like the herbs and everything. The first and foremost, most powerful thing that we could ever use is our mind, body, and spirit. And this book goes into that each chapter. She has sigils to connect each part. She has sigils to connect with the lungs. She has sigils to connect with the serpent, the wild serpent that is inside of all of us.
I like that.
Every chapter starts off with like a nice little poem she wrote. So I'm going to read one of my favorites, which is, I believe, the serpent. The poem that goes with it is: deep in the belly, nestled in our core, a serpent moving from sky to floor, primal yet sensual, ancient and wise, knowing the secrets apart from lies. Renew, transform, slither, shedding skin, protecting and freeing soul within.
Ooh.
And that in itself could even like I think she even explains how that like these poems can be used as charms and spells to connect to these parts of the body within yourselves. And she introduces meditations and spells and everything to go with it. It's literally magic without any of the outside materials.
Mhm. So it's basically a book that teaches you in order to find out the universal truth, you have to look inside for your own truth first.
Exactly, exactly. And she really hits it on with that. Um, Someone who forwarded this book is Christopher Penczak, and I know he's a great,
Hmm.
well-known author. I love some of his works. I own a couple of his works. He is a great author. This is the first book I've read from Laura, and immediately I was impressed. This book actually was um, recommended to me from a very dear friend of mine who practices as well, and she loves this book. She got the Oracle deck to this book, and she loved this book. She really highly recommended it, and I could see why, honestly.
Hmm. So she has like a companion deck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
How many pages is it?
We are working at um. So I, from what I like, I will end it with like acknowledgments, which is at like page 189. After that is I'm not even gonna try to pronounce these words. Like you got resources and stuff like that to write to the author. Technically, there's 194, 195, but up to like really what one would probably read is 189.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not anything extraordinary. It's nothing huge. It's a very good, easy read. She flows through it very nice. Again, it's a great beginner's book.
Yeah. Um, the Cunningham Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. It's a little over 300 pages,
Yeah.
but mine's more of a. It's like
A resource book.
it's more of a reference book.
Yes. Yeah. That's nothing like personally. I haven't read that cover to cover. Obviously, like I said, I didn't even know it spoke about poppets and stuff like that.
Oh no, yeah.
But it's definitely something where I was like, even something I'll still look to this day. If I'm working a spell where I'm using herbs specifically based on their planetary alignments, maybe because of something with the sky, maybe something with the people I'm trying to enchant, whatever
Mhm.
the situation, whatever the case may be, I will still go to that book to this day and figure out because I'm not by any means a know all be all when it comes to what alignment herbs stuff like that. Nah, that's why I got these books to keep, so I can just be like, hold on, I know somebody who does. He's right in my bookcase.
I don't really pay attention to the planetary alignments and the masculine feminine when it comes to herbs.
No. I know what to use what for, magically speaking, but when we going into stuff like that, yeah, nope. Got my book though. I got my book though. I'll find out. I can find out, definitely, best believe. But do I know off the top of my head? Fuck no. What are we talking?
There's $1 in the swear jar.
There's a $1 in the swear jar. I swear that was not my first curse by any means.
Oh, that's the first one that I heard.
I mean, maybe it is. I don't know.
Alrighty.
I swear my last video, I was doing nothing but cursing.
I mean, who gives a fuck?
Sucks to suck, right? Anyway, so okay, talk to us about what's your next book?
Oh, the next book?
Yeah, what are we working with? I want to save your other book for last, mainly because I want to talk about that because I have questions alone on that. If that's cool.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So the next book I have is one by Raymond Buckland, Advanced Candle Magic. So this one I feel like is also another good beginner's book when it comes to, of course, everybody's favorite, candle magic. I think candle magic is one of the most popular forms of magic. It's not the only one, but I think it's one of the most popular. Definitely. And I would say the more accessible ones.
Us witches love our candles, don't we?
But basically, the first couple of chapters goes into planetary alignments, the hours of the planets. Of course, it starts off with the ethics of magic, what it is, and that kind of thing. It has a section about sympathetic magic, which is something representing another. Right. So, say for example, like a puppet. It also tells you how to make a puppet in here as well. It gives the hours of the day, which is ruled by each planet. It gives you the days of the week and what it is reserved for. Say for example, Friday is for love. The timing of the month, the phases of the moon, timing of the year, the moon phases. Of course, you don't have to use all of that if you don't want to, but for people who are interested in using planetary hours with their candle magic, this is a good thing to refer to. It also tells you how oils are used. It doesn't really give you oil recipes, but it kind of gives you the basis of them, how crystals and stones are used in it. They even have. I noticed one thing about Raymond Buckland is that he's very ceremonial. Like he's very. I think he was a Wiccan high priest, so he does have a section on wearing robes when you're performing magic.
Right.
It even has tools like the wand, the owl, which is basically a fancy word for the thing that you use to describe in the candles. Incense and thuribles, poppets, again, talismans. He goes into casting circles. He even goes into making and crafting your own candles as well. He has some herbs in here and what they're used for. Even how to make dipped candles, which is where you take the string and you dip it in the wax and you dip it in the water to set it, and then you keep doing that until you make a taper candle. Image candle, jar candles, knotted wick candles, floating candles, all different kinds of candles. He also, it seems, he gives examples on how to do energy work and techniques and like exercises to use. He goes into inscriptions such as the Theban alphabet, anointing the candle, certain ways of anointing the candle for different things, like rubbing outwards to send something out, and rubbing something inward to like bring something in. But the main part of the book is the different rituals. So as you get to like page 107, it goes away from like a reference guide to more of like an active working spell book. So
Oh,
he
okay.
has rituals in here, and he gives an image of where to set each candle and like what to add, like what herbs to use, what oils to use, what form the candles need to be in, like a triangle, a circle, a square, whatever he's doing. Even has
Okay.
incantations. Um, but of course, this is. I feel like this is better as like something to get like inspiration from. I mean,
Right.
I guess you could do the ritual in here word for word, T to T, if that's how you feel.
I
But
would. I never do that. I don't think you should ever do someone else's magic. I think you got to always make it your own. You know, like you said, definitely get the inspiration from it. Even if you do that exact spell, do something just unique. You know, even if it's at the least doing it with, of course, your own deities or your own spirits. You know, something to make it yours and not theirs.
yeah. So from 107 to 242, it's a whole bunch of different rituals, and then you get to the appendix, where you have the table of planetary hours. So it gives you a full table to refer to from sunrise to sunset on what each hour on what specific day is for what planet. And then you have the properties of the planet. It goes from the sun, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, Pluto, and it gives a keyword for example, Venus, harmony, and then it has associations: feminine influence, fashion, feeling, physical associations: throat, kidneys, lumbar, positive traits, kind and gentle, negative traits, excessively romantic, effusive, and practical. And it does that for every single um, one of them. And then table 4, the symbolism of colors. So red, courage, health, sexual love, strength, vigor. Um, it just gives you like the basics representations. Of course, if somebody feels like red is more associated with money, do you, boo? It's up to you.
No,
And
yeah.
then astral colors. So it gives you the person's zodiac sign and what color is represented. So, for example, if I wanted to do a healing spell for, let's say, Kevin. Um, you're a Leo, right?
I
So
am
it
a
says
Leo.
your astral color would be red and your secondary color would be green. So I would use a red color to represent you. Like a candle to represent you would probably be a red figure candle, and then you would be encircled by a bunch of blue candles. But
Period.
that's how I would do that. And then, of course, the days of the week and what color they represented by: Monday white, Tuesday red, Wednesday purple, Thursday blue, Friday green, Saturday black, Sunday yellow. Of course, some people might find Tuesday is purple, and
No,
this
yeah,
is
yeah. Again, don't right. Whatever you truly feel. If something, because like, for example, I'm sure in that book, and even in the book I'm going to discuss, in so many books, they say that north is associated with earth, while east is associated with air. And to me, I disagree with that. To me, what air is always going to be associated with north. Air is. Can you? I'm sorry. Hold on one second, guys. I have a demon scratching at the door. Hold on.
aka his cat.
Can you just hush, woman? You are interrupting me.
There's
Anyway.
only a couple more tables in here. You got Native American color symbolism, Asian color symbolism. You got a table of magical squares. You have a couple of herbs and their magical uses, a couple of stones and their magical uses, and then you have magical alphabets where it actually tells you how to write in the magical alphabet. And that is the end of the book.
Oh my god, Steve, my cat just almost hung on everybody.
Which one is it,
Oh,
Phoebe or
yes,
Thundi? Oh,
Phoebe.
Phoebe.
She's the only one that feels the need to walk like right onto my keyboard.
Well, duh. She's the star of the show.
Yeah, well, she needs to have manners. Isn't that right, Misty? Okay, okay. Anyway, so yeah, okay. I didn't realize like how honestly, like, no, that does sound like a really good book. Again,
Yeah, it's
definitely don't fall into the trap of thinking what he says is like by all, like the all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the be all end all. Yeah.
Correct, but
It's 264 pages.
oh, that's a good, that's a good chunky book.
Yeah, and even the last couple of readable pages are like the table of contents. Like it goes all the way until that page. No, it's 265 pages. Like of nothing but information.
Yeah, no, that's like that's a chunky book, and again, a great one for like something to start you off. I love when it comes to like beginner books. I love something with a lot of information and something that I can digest, because the more you learn, especially when you first start, is the better. You know what I mean? And with
Mm.
something like that, it can give you even like I said, like it can just make you think about how you associate things and what energy you pick up on. You know, maybe think like just get you to think about things you wouldn't have without that information.
Mhm. And I was looking at the publication. This is from 1999.
Oh wow, see that's why. That's why it's good.
Yeah, it's like an original book.
I know that
Oh, it's definitely not an original book like any of the books written by Doreen Valiente,
right.
which I want to read some of her books.
I don't what books have she written?
Um, Witchcraft for Today and Tomorrow, I think, is one of them. Um, I think a lot of her books are like set in publication from like the 60s and stuff. I don't remember. I have to
Oh
go look at
really?
her.
Oh
I'll have to.
wow,
Oh
okay.
yeah, yeah. They
Oh
consider her the mother of modern witchcraft.
oh yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that's something, yeah.
We'll go on Amazon later and look.
Yes, we will. Okay, I'm gonna talk about my next two real quick.
Yep.
And I'm starting off with okay, so this
So you're gonna do your last two, and then mine's gonna be saved for the
yeah,
last.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because mine's the most interesting one.
Yeah, yeah, because I want to talk about it. I had questions about the Bremen one, but you kind of like answered them for me as we were talking.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I do like some of his where I have a few of his works, I believe. I have one
His.
about
Mhm.
I have one about gypsy mythology. I have one about like his Raymond Buckland's Book of Seances or something.
Yeah, and then he has a really popular one, Raymond Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft, which is a big, thick blue book.
Yeah, yeah,
But
we
it's
have that
technically
right.
it's the Raymond Buckland's Complete Book of Wicca.
It's and I've also heard it's not only that, but it's covered. It's like
It's basically a lot of it in there
like
is set up to the functions of a coven, like a Wiccan
yeah,
coven with
it's very
the degrees
similar
of coven. Sure.
with ceremony.
Oh, are you?
Is
Your audio is cutting out.
it?
Yeah.
You know what's weird? It's like unstable. But when I mean, like,
Is it still recording?
I think so. Go back, go
Okay.
back. Can you hear me fine?
Speak a little bit more.
Um.
Yeah, you're back. I was just
Okay.
wondering if it was recording because it doesn't say live on my screen anymore.
Oh no, it says it on mine. I don't even know
Okay.
why I had to X out to see because there's a big red thing that says recording next to me.
Okay, I was just making sure we weren't talking for no reason.
No, right? What was I just saying? Do you know? Oh my god, I forgot.
Raymond Buckland.
Oh yes. Yeah, that book is yeah. Oh yes, ceremonial magic. There's nothing wrong with it. I incorporate a lot of ceremonial magic in my practice. However, that book is like straight, almost like Solomon magic.
Yeah.
Like it's
Hmm.
very ceremonial.
Yeah, because the blue book, the complete book of witchcraft, his ones is basically a guidebook on running a coven.
Covens. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
practicing Wicca as like you're practicing it as like that's your religion, like your straight religion, your Wiccan.
Right. Yes. Correct. Yeah. No. Yeah. Because Wicca is a religion, and it's not like which. Like yeah. Yeah.
Wicca
There's
is a
like
religion that encompasses the practice of witchcraft.
exactly, but there's more to witchcraft than like Wicca.
Hmm.
Um, and actually, speaking of that, we're gonna go right into my book, which is called Spirit of the Witch. This is, thank God that's closed. This is a book straight on witches and witchcraft, and just like the title suggests, the actual spirit of the witch, of being a witch. The
Hmm.
spirit within you that you've always known you were a witch. You were connected to the other side with gifts, intuition. You've been able to do things you can't really explain, and things would just manifest for you, and you'd be, just stuff like that. Maybe you astral project at night, you can't explain just certain things, you know what I mean? Just you being a witch, and it goes into the heart of witchcraft, the traditional core bases of witchcraft, going back out into the woods, working with, the horned god and the goddess, be it Diana or Hecate, working with the ancestors, the spirits of the land and the Numen, like the spirits of the plants and of the rivers and the waters and of the earth and fire and air. It goes into the traditional tools that you find in tarot cards: the chalice, the wand, the sword, or the athame, and the pentacle. It, it encompasses like just true um, traditional old world witchcraft. With that being said, Raven Karmasi is a fantastic. I love his works. He is a great author of things that I've read. He has written old world witchcraft. He has also written Italian witchcraft, which is a very ancient. That's an ancient form of witchcraft in itself. He does know what he's talking about,
Yeah.
and he goes into the traditional rituals and working with, again, deities and spirits. He goes into like the what he calls the code of ethics, but in reality, and this is what I love about him, and what he encompasses, is that the witch's true code of ethics is nothing but just the witch's true set of morals.
Hmm.
Like, to name a few, his is, I do not steal what does not belong to me. I do not play the role of victim when I am too busy participating in my life. I do not worship in ways others would have me do, because nature is my first and truest love. I venture the old gods because they do not demand it, but they own my heart, or but my own heart does. I do not lie because I rely upon the truth. Just stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it's just, I love what he goes. If you're into the more traditional, old world kind of paganess witchcraft and magic, he is phenomenal at it. He goes on about how witchcraft in itself is, in a way, like being a witch is in a way just your own religion, because of how much, like, of what it encompasses. You know what it's like when you're a witch. You don't just live day to day necessarily normally like others do.
Hmm.
Not when you can control elements and control the weather and speak to the dead and foresee future outcomes, you know what I mean? And can
Hmm.
manipulate the world, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just gifted and natural and drawn to, it's just what your inner self goes to, and that's what he encompasses, and that's what he's great at expressing.
Hmm.
So that's Spirit of the Witch. Um,
So basically, his book is just the meanings behind of being a witch.
yes. Oh
It's
yeah.
not. It's not more like a manual of instruction on how to do stuff. It's just like what it
Yeah, no,
means to
yeah,
be. Yeah.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Like he does, like he'll go, like he doesn't tell you how to do this ritual. He tells you about the ritual and what it
It would
means.
definitely
Yeah,
be a good add-on book or a companion book to doing shadow work.
absolutely, because it's digging at the core of yourself. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's so yeah. He is such a phenomenal. Unfortunately, he has passed away, and we don't have any of his works coming out. That is
Mm.
that's- Um, but on a positive note, I want to discuss Baba Yaga's Book of Witchcraft. Now, this book, Rowan knows
Oh, he
not
has not shut
only
up about that freaking book.
right, not only is it a book I've wanted for like a whole year, but now that I finally have it, it's so good. It's so good, man. It's just so good. It was so much better than what I even thought it was going to be.
Hmm. Who's the author?
The author is Madame Pamela, or I'm so sorry if I'm
I
butchering these names.
I know Madame Tomita. I've
Pamela,
watched.
yeah.
Um, she has a YouTube channel. I've watched her before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she has a YouTube channel.
Oh my God, see, I don't know this.
Hmm. I've been watching her way before she came out with that book.
Oh my God, what is her videos on?
A lot of her videos. Uh, Recently, I think there's a lot of I guess, but her original videos are spell work videos. Like she does hoodoo.
Yeah, okay, word, word. So, what she goes about in this book is quite a couple of things. Now, if you have any like drawn to Baba Yaga, this book is perfect for you. Now, even if it's not working with Baba Yaga, even like it's just wanting to know of Baba Yaga, wanting to just learn about Baba Yaga and maybe just more of what she's about, wanting to learn more of Slavic magic and witchcraft, you know?
Mm.
Um, so if anyone's ever interested in hearing of Baba Yaga, they might have heard of the story where there's the little, kind of like Cinderella, where there's the little girl that is sent to go steal fire from Baba Yaga from her stepmother for their house, and Baba Yaga basically gives her a list of instructions that seems impossible. She gets the fire, incinerates the family, yada yada. What you don't maybe possibly normally hear is there is way more to that story than you could even imagine, and it starts off with, well, this book goes into the entire story, and it starts off with this little girl whose name is Vaslana, and it starts off with her parents before Vaslana is even born, and it ends after um, the stepmother being dead and Vaslana being reunited with her father. It is a phenomenal book. The way it is set up is in different chapters. So each chapter is the same setup and format. It starts off with the story, like a tidbit, like a section of Vaslana's story. Then it goes into wisdom and advice of from Baba Yaga, and then it goes into wisdom and advice from the author. So, for example, now I'm gonna try to find something I can pronounce, if that's even possible. Mm, Uh, okay, so the Vidma, which I could be pronouncing wrong, but the Vidma, aka the witch, it starts off with just parts of the story, which I will not spoil. Then after that, it goes into Baba Yaga shares the wisdom of the Vidma, and then um, Madame Pamita teaches the magic of the Vidma. And
Mm.
it's just so what it does is when you're reading the section on Baba Yaga, it's like speaking to Baba Yaga, and it's just something that either does or it doesn't connect to you. You know, if you're not interested in Baba Yaga, if you're not interested in Slavic witchcraft and magic, this isn't the book for you.
Now, does that book talk about Baba Yaga in reference as more of as an archetype or as a deity?
More like a archetype, more like a spirit, more
More like
like
a, yeah,
yeah, she more like she is
more of a
she,
metaphor than like an actual like
well,
energy, or
no, it's more like she is that old witch in the woods, basically. She is
Okay.
that old woman that everyone is afraid of. She is isolated from the norm, from society. She is the abnormal. She is the indifferent.
Oh,
She
okay.
is the unknown, and she is that witch in the woods that you go to, and kind of like in Hansel and Gretel, where the witch eats the children, you are transformed, and you are not only transformed, but you are touched by this being, this witch, this
She is
woman who
the
you
wise
respect.
woman in the shack.
Yes, she is the woman you're the at the beginning of the story. She is the witch you're afraid of. At the end of the story, she is the grandmother you love. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's what I love about this book. This book teaches you about magic. This book teaches you about the wisdom and love that Baba Yaga has to share. So you're not. It teaches the true Baba Yaga, and it just goes into Slavic magic and witchcraft. So I love that. I'm definitely going to, because of this book, explore more on Baba Yaga as well as Slavic lore and magical practices that they used back then and still do to this day. I
Hmm.
have a very it speaks very well to me. I see a lot of associations with Baba Yaga and Hecate, and because of that, and like I said, how she is viewed as the old witch in the woods. She is like that's how I view her in the real world. Can you still find her to this day? Absolutely. Just go wander in the woods deep and get lost. You will find Baba Yaga. You know what I mean? You might not know what I'm talking about. You might know exactly what I'm talking about.
Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto thee.
Exactly. Because of
Which
Baba
is
Yaga. Hmm.
which is a verse from the Bible, but it fits.
No, it really does. And that is magic. And that speaks true wisdom. And personally, I will say I have because of this, I view Baba Yaga as like an ancient ancestor, as a mentor and a guide. And to honor her, I personally will be getting my own tattoo of her house because I love Baba
Hmm.
Yaga. So yeah, that's how I will honor Baba Yaga. But minus that. Um so that is my three books. We can discuss our third book. Do you want to discuss our third book, or do you want to just go right into your book?
Our third book, like the Hecate book.
Yeah, I mean, we can just kind of just go explain what it is if you don't really want to go into detail.
Um, you want to do this book I have here, or do you want to do the Hecate book first?
I wanted to. Well, I can. Well, we can just say real quick for the Hecate book that we are reading currently,
Okay.
"Bearing Torches," and it is a devotional and anthology for Hecate, and it's an entire book based on like it's just essays or poems and stories about Hecate, and I just think it's beautiful. I think it's like every piece
Yeah.
individual is amazing, and it's for Hecate. So if you're a Hecate devotee, it's something that you would like. If you just want to even learn about Hecate, learn more about who she is, her myth and lore, that this book does encompass some of that.
Hmm.
So that's all I really have to say.
It's basically a collection of different devotees, and some devotees may only give to the book maybe an invocation, a poem, uh, an essay of historical value, or uh, personal gnosis, stuff like that. So basically, it's a bunch of different devotees and their different relationships with her, and how different Hecate is with each of them combined into one as one devotional offering to Hecate. And a lot of the poems and invocations are very traditional. Like there's some that really stick to her at face value as being the guardian of the crossroads, queen of witches, yada yada yada. But there's some like poems in there that are more modern, focusing on her as more of like a role model than to them a goddess. It's just a whole bunch of different collections of how differently she is for each and every one that she contacts. So,
No, yeah, it's like you said, it's a bunch of Hecate devotees that come together, wrote a bunch of offerings in the form of what Hecate has done for them. Even those that aren't devotees, we've already seen in some of the works. And I think actually my next, because we're still currently reading it, and I think my next passage I'm about to read is one where is written by someone who doesn't view Hecate as highly as they do other deities or spirits in their life, which is obviously way more okay.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they still write, and it's like it's a collection of all of these people that Hecate has affected and touched and written for Hecate.
hmm To some people, they consider her a patroness, and they're devoted to her. To some people, they might be, let's say, for example, they're devoted to Zeus, but they still have reverence for Hecate. It just,
Right,
however she appears to them.
right. Okay, so let's
It's
go into your last book.
okay. So my last book is called Hellenic Polytheism: Household Worship. So this book I bought because I was very interested in the reconstruction of the ancient Greek ethnic religion. A lot of people call Hellenismos.
Hmm.
But basically, so there's two different, back in the ancient Greek world, there was two different forms of worship. There was the festival worship, which was the communal worship that the cities and the states and the towns all focused on. Um, and then there was the household worship. So basically, it's the difference between, let's say, for example, a Christian going to church. The church has their own rituals, but then when you're at home, you have your own form. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So basically, um, the the mythology you see mostly is you see the festival worship, and each town had their own. There was, the 12 Olympians, but each town maybe had their own form of the pantheon. Maybe one town put Aphrodite higher on the pedestal than the rest because that was the patroness of the town. Like, for example, Corinthia, or the town of Olympia might have Zeus as their main person. Athens had Athena, or Sparta had Ares as their main one, and then they all had like it's like a patron saint of the town. You know what I mean? Patron god.
Right, right.
But this book tells you a little bit about the festival practice, but the main thing is household worship. How the individual people, the regular people, of the Greek world had their home religion, had their personal practice. So
Hmm.
in this book, it goes through the principal gods. Let's see. So basically, let's see here, let me go through the book. It goes through the foundations of the home. So, and the because every god and goddess had some form of their selves that was more home based. For example, Zeus Catizis, or um, he would be like he's Zeus is Zeus, but he would have his household protector form. So this goes through and it tells you. First of all, it gives you on one of the first few chapters, like I just said, the two basic key forms of Hellenic religious tradition were and still are household worship and then the civic or the communal worship.
Right.
Um, And this goes into the principal gods. So every one of them will give you the god and their offerings and that kind of thing. It starts off with Hestia because Hestia was kind of like almost, I would say, a gatekeeper because Hestia received the first and last of every
Right.
And to not give Hestia the first offering was kind of,
Disrespectful.
disrespect, which is a whole different context. But it goes through the principal gods. It even goes through some of the secondary gods, because in the Greek household worship, Hecate was more of a secondary goddess. She was not usually the main goddess unless somebody really, really liked Hecate.
Right.
She was mainly the protector of the boundary.
Right.
Protector
So
of
like the entryways
yeah. She
to
didn't
keep
really.
out like negative, dark, evil spirits, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Evil witchcraft, negate spells, the evil eye. While there would be like the actual deity of the home, like Zeus or Hysteria or
Yeah. So it comes to a section that says the boundaries of the home, Hermes, Hecate, Apollo, and Aegeus. Um, Basically, this book goes into the foundation of the home and the personal private worship of the gods within the home. Because the personal private worship of the gods in the home was not as flashy or showy as the communal worship. And it also goes into the rites of marriage, death, and birth. It goes into the household altar, the hearth and fire, the ritual items that were used, the libations. Um,
do they give like traditional libations to
yes. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. One of the main traditional libation was wine mixed with water, because they believed that giving pure wine was just something they didn't want to do. I don't know the exact reasoning behind it, but I always seen or read that it was always wine mixed with water. It was always watered down.
Huh.
Um, yeah, so it'll go through that, and then it goes to the prayers and traditional hymns. And there's even rituals in here in a more um,
Any Hecate
traditional.
rituals?
There's a Numenia ritual and a dive non ritual, which is the
Mm-hmm.
new moon and stuff, but she doesn't really take a forefront in it.
Right, yeah, of course.
There's also the Agathos daemon, which is the spirit of the household, the protective spirit of the household. Um,
See, that was also within the book of Baba Yaga. She
mhm,
goes in to say that, like traditions, ancient like traditions to theirs, you'll see coincide with other cultures, which is
mhm,
something that you'll see anywhere. And that's something because they also have their own version of like a spirit of the house, a protector of the home.
mhm, mhm.
Um, I know what they call it. I'm just not going to try to butcher the name by trying to pronounce it. But right,
Mhm. So basically, this book here, Hellenic Polytheism Household Worship, is more geared towards somebody who is proclaiming their religion as the old Greek religion and want to get as close to recreating or reconstructing the religion as it was back in the day within their life now. So
right,
I'm sure somebody who has a very um, eclectic path could read this and get some information from it and be like, oh, that's cool to know how it used to work. But this book is more geared to somebody who
right,
is actively worshiping and considers themselves as a Hellenic pagan, Hellenic polytheist,
right.
um, which is very popular now.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
it's
oh
actually
yeah.
been in Greece. It's actually been recognized, which still, Greek. The Greece religion, main religion, is still Greek Orthodox, but it actually has a place
In
where
yeah,
place in society now where actually people are going to the old temples and performing rituals at the old temples. Some of them, I'm sure. You just can't walk up to the Acropolis and go inside the Temple of Athena. I
yeah,
see
right.
mostly people do it on the outskirts, but yeah, this book is very interesting. Definitely, me talking about it does not give it the complete recognition that it deserves. Because if you want to really know what it's like, you gotta read it. But
Right. But it's highly recommended.
it's highly recommended because even if you're not someone who is a Hellenic polytheist, it's still a good book to read just to know because it ain't
Right.
it doesn't
Even
hurt it doesn't hurt to learn something.
no, it's a study on the old gods still. And like me, like I'm not a Hellenic reconstructress. Recon what? What?
Reconstructionist.
Right, that. But I work with but my main goddess, my only goddess is Hecate, is a Greek goddess, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that would
And
be something.
it's very interesting because from what I've read about the old Greek religion, Hecate was an important deity, but she doesn't have as much. She has more devotion now, I think, than back in the day, considering of what she's referred to as now. Because back in the day, she was only a goddess of protection of the liminal spaces and the crossroads. Nowadays, she is more associated with witchcraft, necromancy, being the queen of witches, the queen of ghosts. She's definitely evolved and changed and received more power or received more associations as people have just focused on her more.
Right.
But even in the religion, she was more of a secondary goddess. She wasn't one of the main 12 Olympian gods, but she still had a place. But yeah, I really enjoy this book.
No, yeah, that's something I definitely won't get my hands on.
And it's written by Labris, which is the group that actively practices the religion. I believe that they are a Greek-based religion. I mean, well, yeah, Greek-based religion. A Greek, like they're from Greece, I think.
Oh,
Labris for the resurgence of the sacred hearth of Hellenism. Um, oh, and on the front of the book, it also says, "Blessed and fortunate is he who, knowing the sacred rites of the gods, leads a pure life." I'm trying to
I like.
see. Trying to
Mm,
see. Okay, here we go. Within this publication, the reader is presented with explanations for the central concepts and basic guidelines to the ceremonies that form a part of a Hellenic household. Worship has been established and is currently practiced by the Labrys polytheistic community in Hellas, which is Greece. We hope that it serves as a useful introductory manual for the newcomer to the contemporary Hellenic polytheism as they take the first steps on their journey to the worship of the Hellenic gods in a traditional manner.
Nice. So it's an introduction to like the Hellenic practice.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. That's
And
perfect.
from what I've learned, that Hellenic polytheism is an ethnic practice, but you don't have to be of that ethnicity to practice. Ethnic religion
Mhm.
just refers to that it's not a universal religion. Being universal religion would be Christianity, where it can be um, taken out of its area that it was founded and still be
Right.
100%
Authentic.
authentic. An
Yes.
ethnic religion is a religion that you cannot separate it from its culture.
Um, yeah, no, that's something that also, again, like in a lot of practices, even with the Slavic book, that they say like just because you are not of the origin, just because your ancestry is not of this, does not negate you at all from practicing.
Hmm. And
Some traditions are need to be like initiated into. You
oh
can't
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
willy
yeah,
nilly,
yeah,
but others, obviously, yeah, no, it has nothing to do with the background. It has everything to do with your heart.
yeah. And also is polytheism is a religion that doesn't demand worship if you don't want to.
Right, right,
It's not like Christianity, where in the Bible it says, "Worship me, I am the one true God."
right.
Zeus doesn't say, "Worship me," or
Yeah,
you're
no,
getting messed
yeah,
up.
no. There is no worship like that.
Hmm. Oh,
But
and then it also goes into I love this book. It also goes into the idea of what they call I'm probably saying this word wrong, but it's Kharis, Charis or something like that, which is
mhm,
basically reciprocation. Basically
Oh
being
yeah.
like going to Hecate and offering her wine and being like, Hecate, if I have ever offered to you and you have been pleased by it, please help me with this. Basically,
Right.
reciprocating and basically
Working
racking up
with.
brownie points.
Yeah. He said, "Man, on that body
That's
places."
basically what it is. You have to give to get, is basically.
Oh yeah, of course. As
And
with anything, you never want to just be like, you never want to go up to anyone or anything and be like, "Hey, want to help me with this? I won't give you shit, but hey, come help me." Like, no,
yeah,
you
which
ain't. Good luck, brother.
is from what the book tells me, the idea of Charis um, is the main tenet of the religion, one of the main tenets, basically being why the household worship was also so personal and so different than the communal worship, because in order for you to rack brownie points up with a god or a goddess, they have to know you. So it's
Yeah.
knowing the god on a personal level.
Hmm.
The community
Building that
worship,
relationship.
yeah, the communal worship was knowing the god on a community level, like everybody. But you have to have that household worship for the God to be like, oh, what's up, Maria? Oh, you need help? Okay. Since you gave me that bread the other day and I really enjoyed it, I will help you with your
Right.
cable bill. It's
Right.
knowing the God on a personal level.
Right. It's showing respect. You know what I mean? It's showing like I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean?
Uh-huh.
You know, it's
And I mean,
nothing like you just going to them and being like, I don't know you. I've never asked you for anything. I've never given you jack, and I never will. But you want to help me gain $500 so I can help pay this cable bill.
mm-hmm,
Who are you? Who are you, Jackie? I don't know you. Go somewhere.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yeah.
But that is amazing. I am definitely gonna get that book to have in my collection of occult book cases and book knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but however, I'm gonna wrap this up because we are just pushing over an hour.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed. This is what I want to be the first of many book talks. Maybe not this long, but I mean, hey, it depends because some of these books are just this good, and we go into when we talk. If y'all are interested, we're interested, and we fuck with it. You fuck with it,
I fuck with it.
I fuck with it, so we fuck with it. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Rowan, thank you so much for being with us tonight and talking about books.
You're wild.
Phoebe, thank you for almost hanging up on everyone, and please do not eat my pizza. Walk away, woman. Walk away. Oh my god. Okay, guys, I'm hanging up. Have a wonderful day or night, whatever time it is y'all are watching this, and until next time, blessed be. How do you end this thing? Okay, I got it. Bye, guys.